Hello, everybody. This is Teany Hidalgo, and I am your purpose coach, and I help ignite people's power through their purpose. And tonight, I just wanted to come on and offer you a little piece of wisdom, a little piece of information that I thought was super helpful for me, and it kind of got reinforced when I came from the Oprah show and her tour, and I wanted to talk about it and give you kind of more input about it. So the question is, how do you live from intention? You don't really get what you want, you really get what you intend. So what does that mean? I'll tell you in two shakes of a lamb's tail. So let's talk about the details of how to live from a life from intention instead of choosing a life from default, right? Which is what we don't want. We want to be able to set the intention so that we have it as a directed vision or as a directed thought, right? We don't want to just live and allow things to happen to us. We want to actually happen with life in a direction that we want, right? We don't want to just let things just happen, right? So, according to Psychology Today, intention is the human ability to direct the electricity in your brain instead of just letting it flow down a path of least resistance. That's what we want. We want to flow this particular intention, this feeling down that path of least resistance. So, let's talk about what happens when you live this way. A lot of things. And so, for those of you watching, we're talking about how to live a life of intention, and feel free to post questions, and I will get back to you here live. Thank you guys for joining. So what happens when you're living from a life of intention is that you are proactive instead of reactive. That is a huge key. You're proactive about it, but in an intentional, presence type of way. So that means that you let things come as easily, basically things come easily as you guide your energy, and everything kind of flows and moves in the way that's in your highest good, because you're operating from like basically a higher sense of direction. You're more conscious and you're more present to your life and in your life. Does that make sense? So how do we get there? How do we become these intentional human beings and allow, our emotions and whatnot to guide us and to move with us instead of like butting up against resistance every chance that we get? First, number one, you have to see yourself as whole. So I talked about this, and if you want, you can look back at my video on the one thing stopping your purpose, because I go into that in a lot of detail. So because the more you're filled in, right, the more you feel that you are whole and that nothing is missing and nothing is, obviously we're not perfect, but that there's not a gaping hole that you need to fill. Because you feel whole already, you're not defined by your intention, and you don't have like a charge about it. And the stronger your intention it will be, because you don't have this like charge about it. It avoids basically any fear of, or unworthiness, since you're strong in already in who you are, and you don't let that intention basically define you. And so it works perfectly with number two, which is you should have your values and your beliefs straight and solid. Because the more wobbly those are, and this is true to life in so many different ways, the more wobbly you are about your values and your beliefs, the more your standards will be set by, guess who? Not you, someone else, or maybe not at all. So we all know how that goes, because then your intentions won't be as clear, and then the outcomes, of course, are not going to be as clear either, because you're wobbly. You don't have a clear direction on what your values and your beliefs are, and so you'll be liable to be taken, by anyone, and do whatever anyone else says versus what you truly want and intend for your life and for yourself, and maybe for your family and whatnot. So this can carry into many aspects of our lives. So now the third reason is you have a strong reason behind this intention. Your why, your meaning. You guys have heard me say this so many times. Meaning and a clear and strong why are so important in everything that we do, really. But you have to set that meaning, that big why, because having a true and strong why helps the universe know you mean business. Like everything, or at least a lot of the things that I do, I try to refocus and say, okay, what is my meaning behind this? What does it mean for me? What's the emotion that I want to feel? How do I want the outcome to present itself? And those things, not necessarily tying myself to the outcome and to the experience, but setting the intention that, universe, this is what I want, and this is why. Okay. Once you have that, then again, you telling the universe and everything will conspire for you because you mean business. So now the fourth reason is to be specifically focused. I love the sound of that phrase, and I also love what it means, because when you're setting this intention, you also have to be detailed with your intention and invested in terms of how detailed you are in it, not invested in terms of, oh my God, my life is going to fall apart if it doesn't come true, but invested in the details of it. You should always have the things that you want, make them as detailed as possible, because that's how also you're calling in the different avenues and the different people and all the different pieces to your life on how that thing, that intention is going to come to fruition. Okay. So again, not to the point that it slows you down from fear, don't be emotionally invested in it like that, because, if it doesn't happen, oh my God, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with it? It's wrong for me, all those things. Don't do that. In fact, be the opposite. Be lighthearted about it and feel joy about it, because that's where you have the most power, but direct all those emotions in the intention of a detailed focus. That way that you're guided, and that you will be guiding that energy toward the intention that you want. Make sense? And then number 5, which is the last one, is be in presence. I mean, this is a pretty obvious one. Allow the path of least resistance to unfold, because intention, you can't manhandle it, right? It's not manhandling. You don't want to coerce it and move it and, push it into something that it doesn't want to do or doesn't make sense. It's actually being in flow with direction and being easy about it that allows it to be intentionally, focused and guided, but also it comes back to you in the same manner. So your emotion sets the motion, and then you kind of flow in that direction, right? You flow with the direction of that intent when you flow easily in that way. So to be in presence, of course, requires stillness. So the more that you can be in the moment and practice that better, things like, meditation, conscious breathing, yoga, etc. Those are great ways to do that. The more that you can practice those in presence moments and be conscious about it, and, all those different things, the more you're allowing things to kind of easily flow in to your life, because now you're in presence and you're conscious about it. It's a more conscious way of living. It's consciousness. It's a higher consciousness. So I particularly loved the way Oprah talked about, she herself always asked her staff not to bring her anything, like she's done so many things in her programs, and she's had so many projects that she's worked on. But the one thing that she says she does, and she actually repeated it when I saw her in the Vision 2020 tour, in the 2020 Vision tour, is that she said that she always asks her staff not to bring anything that doesn't have a solid intention behind it. Because if you don't have an intention, then how can I have an intention to carry it out, right? So it's like a partnership. You yourself should have the intention and carry it out. But if you have staff and you have people that are involved in it, then you should be even clearer, right, in your intention, because you're also involving other people. And so if those people bring something to you, their intention should be focused and be solid, because then if you're the one carrying it out, you need to know that this is built on solid ground, and that it's something that actually can be accomplished, and something that's a good thing for you, and that it has a solid backing and a full understanding of what it is and how it's going to be carried out. So I personally think that's an amazing way of living your life in general and following your dreams and your purpose, don't you? Because now you're coming from a place of presence and intention and emotion in the direction of flow and path of least resistance, like Psychology Today says. So if you have any questions about that and how to set your intention, holla at me. You can post questions here if you have any questions about it. I offer assistance around that area as well, so that you can set your intentions and be more purposeful and purpose driven, which is definitely an intentional way to live. So if you have questions and need assistance around that, I am here to help. Also, catch more videos on my YouTube channel around this particular topic, or being more purpose driven, and be sure to check out my programs, which help you along those lines as well. And you can find that on purposedrivenrevolution.com. I look forward to doing this again with you guys. I look forward to hearing from you. So make sure that you comment below, and I will see you guys on the passionful side. Bye.